And I'm very happy that we are back again a year later with the CEO survey done by PwC in all three Baltic countries. We are having again a roundtable. Zlata, Ted, Nerijus, very welcome to our Mediana studio. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. So now we are again measuring the mood of company leaders and executives. And I think I will give again a floor to Zlata to give an overview. What are the moods of CEOs in the Baltic countries?
Thank you very much, Kristaps. I think actually after several years of pretty much the pessimistic mood, I think some part of the optimism start to sort of pick up. Although, as always, what we are when we're looking at the Baltic entrepreneurs, all of them are sort of skeptical regarding the global economy development. Although the optimism is picking, but when we're talking about our national economy's development, or even more about the company's development itself, then actually we see that we are quite much more optimistic than in the previous years. And I should say that Lithuanian entrepreneurs here in the short terms are pretty much sort of ahead of Estonian and Latvian entrepreneurs. 3 years, in 3 years perspective, seems that all we are convinced that our own company's sort of economical state will improve, the economy will improve as well. So this is overall.
Yes, I have been reading the business press, international business press for the last year, and what I notice is the decline of the mood of globalization and more like regionalization or defragmentation. Ted, maybe you can elaborate on this one. Is this a trend also in the Baltic countries? We are becoming more regional, more close to each other.
I think, Kristaps, you're right in saying the direction is similar everywhere, but I think what is also important to bring out in context of our survey is that it was done or finalized just before a very sort of breaking events happened in the States when the Presidents Trump and Zelensky met. And we all know that I think the globalization drive has probably dried out after that even further. But I guess you're right that it has been coming already for quite some time. Actually, now it seems we've peaked there in a sort of negative manner a little bit. But let's see how it goes further.
Mm-hmm. And Nerijus, what has been those several focuses that we see in this survey? Probably you picked some particular topics to answer CEOs.
Yeah, there were a few topics. So one was about the business environment, about the expectations about the growth, and generally about the economy and about their own businesses. About the threats, about the external threats, about the government's activities, how business leaders trust the local governments do, whether the good job or the bad job, in which areas they trust. The sustainability topic was touched because this is the new topic, and there was a special section. And for me, the most interesting was about the artificial intelligence, actually, and actually a bit surprising results.
Mm. I think maybe we can all agree then if we can go now and have a like a roundtable and each presenting a little bit more those results that you have from your respective countries. So maybe Nerijus, then we could start with you and Lithuania. And so what can we find out about Lithuania this year?
I guess Zlata already touched upon the Baltic leaders, and the there are quite common results for all Baltic leaders together, and in many respects they are similar. In some respects, countries differ. Yeah, so I guess generally the Lithuanian business leaders seems to be still the most positive. There is no big difference, but they seem to be the best optimists. Naturally, I would interpret it as given our uh, past few years' experience and maybe the macroeconomic mood, we've seen a bit of the downturn in Latvia and Estonia, but we've seen still quite good results in Lithuania. So the expectation is related to that, I believe. There was a question about, as I mentioned, the artificial intelligence, which surprised me that the Lithuanian business leaders are skeptical about the use of artificial intelligence. They are starting to use, they are starting to implement, but they don't see the quick results in improving their revenue and improving their profits. And there is a large portion of skepticism, which in turn is a bit different, looking to the global perspective, where we see that in globally the business leaders move this topic to the number one. In Lithuania, the leaders say that the regulatory limits, the regulatory things in the implemented by the government, they are the stoppers for the business development. Licensing and all like permits and something like that.
We talk about the new government, yes.
I guess they are talking about generally how they are
Generally,
perceiving the
okay,
current
all right.
government, and naturally in Lithuania we are the new government since last autumn. Yes. Yeah. What is a bit different from the previous years is that with respect to the employment market, the Lithuanian leaders say that it has become slightly easier to employ new people. I looked into the results 3-4 years ago, so that question was really black in terms like it was really tough to find the new people, and also everybody was increasing the salaries quite substantially. So now they say that it's a bit easier. It's not easy, but it's a bit easier. And also, the business leaders say that they are not going to drastically increase the salaries. The majority say they will look about from 0 to 5%. So which is in this area, and much less of them are saying that they will increase salaries from 6 to 10%. Yeah, and for the investments, the Lithuanian leaders say that they are going to invest mostly into the technology, into automations, but the employees' learning and development skills are on the third place, which used to be number one previously. Now it turns into the third place, but automation and technology move to the first place. Geopolitical things are number one threat, seems to be from the questionnaire, and it most likely relates to what happens around us these days.
Mm-hmm. All right, Zlata, we are traveling further north to Latvia.
Yeah, I think actually, if we look on the Baltic survey, probably there is no a huge differences among the states. Yeah, and everything what Nereus was saying before is actually in the very sort of large respect is coinciding what the Latvian entrepreneurs are thinking. The two things what I probably would choose, or three things which I would like to say that for Latvian entrepreneurs is important. One is that actually, if before when we were asking about what is the export market on which Latvian companies are sort of looking for, then our neighbors, Lithuania and Estonia, was in the first was one and the second place, and all the others were really scattered. Now we see the two other markets start to pick up, which are Poland and Germany. Both of those markets are not very healthy right now, yeah, and therefore, except of Poland, which is actually a rising star, which is true for Lithuanian entrepreneurs as well. So we are started to look more on the Western market and more developed market than ourselves, rather than just on the local market. This is one. The second, I think, talking about people. Again, from the macroeconomic situation, we see that Lithuania has the bigger development outcome going forward, but bigger as well sort of expectation about the pay rise. From the Latvian perspective, this is smaller, but our entrepreneurs are much more skeptical than Estonian and Lithuanian entrepreneurs in terms of how to attract the talent and whether it is harder to attract the talent. And I should say this becomes very relevant with another topic, which is the third topic. Then, if always when entrepreneurs were evaluating the activities of the state, the competitiveness of the Latvian tax position was the number one, that this year actually the reducing of the government expense is the number one topic where entrepreneurs are very skeptical and see as a topic number one for governments going forward. And this coincides a little bit with the number of people as well, because if we have so heavily staffed public sector, then there is a limitation on how much the private sector could employ. And actually, we see the tendencies right now that the salaries in the public sector are actually growing higher than those which are growing in the private sector. So those discrepancies actually push entrepreneurs into a lot of the thinking how to invest correctly in their workforce. And this is what Nerijus was mentioning. Upskilling of the workforce is one of the topics where the companies were planning to invest, but as well automation. If you have the scarce resort of the workforce, then you will be pushed into the different digitalization, automation, reducing or automating the routine tasks so that less of the people resources needed. So those three were, for me, most important.
And the overall mood would be optimism, maybe rather skepticism than optimism. Yes. Okay.
On the short term, definitely.
Yes. And finally, that about Estonia.
Yeah, I'll also touch on a couple of points which I also brought out to the Estonian CEOs who we presented the survey to. Not trying to repeat here what Nerijus and Zlata were already mentioning, but maybe one thing that I wanted to bring out and which I also told to our clients here was an interesting opposite view of the markets from especially Estonian and Lithuanian side, whereas Estonian CEOs saw the more positive prospects of the global economy, but not so much, although better than last year, but not so optimistic about the local economy. And it was interestingly vice versa in Lithuania, whereas Lithuanian CEOs actually saw the global economy in darker colors than the local one. And I guess, as Nerijus said also before, it's logical based on the fact that Lithuanian economy actually has grown, whereas Estonian and Latvian economies have been shrinking for many quarters in a row already. Then continuing with one point which kind of puts us all three into one bucket, and this is where our export is going, or what the CEOs are expecting of export. And very characteristically, I think what is happening with the economy at the moment in Estonia, the CEOs saw Latvian and Lithuanian markets as significantly growing in importance in future, which also makes sense because for Estonia, the main export area has always been Scandinavia, which we know is not doing so well lately. So it's logical that you would turn your site into other directions. And then the negative impact, the negative comment from that actually is the interest of Lithuanian CEOs in Estonian market, which has decreased significantly. So clearly not a positive signal for Estonian market, but I guess also Lithuanian entrepreneurs have put their attention more into maybe larger Polish market, for instance, which makes a lot of sense when you look from Lithuania. Then also not repeating, but just emphasizing the artificial intelligence aspect was also a big surprise to me. As I'm hearing, it's actually almost everywhere that maybe the first wave of optimism or enthusiasm with AI has kind of gone over, and now when you really have to work with it further and maybe put it into the main processes of the companies, the skepticism has taken over. So that was interesting also here. Maybe one final point to bring out about Estonia, which kind of is worth mentioning, and maybe the others are more similar to Latvia, Lithuania as well, is the satisfaction with the government, and especially with the tax environment. And if you've followed what's happening in the Estonian economy, there has been or have been several tax increase decisions done by the parliament and suggested by the government, and that clearly reflects in the results as well. The satisfaction with the government is always a little bit on the lower side. If you look at at all of the questions we're asking, it's kind of natural as well. But yeah, this year the tax environment got particularly big criticism from the entrepreneurs and CEOs, and it's also natural that they think this way. Maybe just one final comment to mention and also bring in our own experience is with the availability of the employees or the workforce, which has, on the one hand, in the eyes and the heads of the CEOs, gotten much better, and we actually see it as PwC in Estonia as well. The graduate intake has become much more easier for us, which is also, I think, in parallel, you can relate it into the relative difficulties of the startup community, which has always been for us the main competition regarding the new workforce. So for us, certainly a positive element there, since we are taking every year in significant number of young people. And if we have sort of shortages there, then it instantly impacts our ability to operate as efficiently as we would like to.
What I see from this survey as well, and the summary of the survey, is that we are again, and that's very good, talking about such issues as sustainability. You didn't mention really particularly sustainability issue, but what I see is also in the public space, more and more we talk maybe replace this with you mentioned artificial intelligence, and now military industries. Now all companies, whatever industry you work in, is now thinking about how we can maybe add something to the military. Do you see this as a trend as well? Nerius, maybe with you. Start.
So from sustainability to military, I guess yes, sustainability is the topic that has been trending over the past few years. But we see the omnibus now in the European Commission accepting that the compliance burden was really too heavy to the business. And actually, that is the approval of our CEO survey. Our CEOs have confirmed that they saw those sustainability requirements more than the compliance costs rather than rethinking of their strategies. I guess only the small portion of the CEOs declared that sustainability requirements made them rethink their business strategy, which is a big remark to me when I interpreted those requirements. But I guess that was part of this overburden of the sustainability requirements. I believe that long term everybody accepts that sustainability is important and businesses have to be responsible and they will improve in the long term. But just for the short term, the compliance was too heavy to what I think. Then coming to the military, I guess, well, that's exactly the topic which is turning now into our priorities, yeah. And in Lithuania, we see that many businesses are looking into this big problem, how to turn it into the opportunity for the business. Yeah, if we look into the construction business, then we see that it's they're looking into the opportunities where they can participate in the public-private partnerships or build the new infrastructure for the military. As all other, I guess, businesses, they look in where they could add into the value chain and how they could utilize on that. Because on the government spending, we hear that we will have billions of money, so that will for sure should come into the private sector. And yeah, this is the topic that I guess over the next few years we will be discussing.
Yes, I also read the chief economist of Swedbank Lithuania, who said, also Nerijus, who said that we should think about really producing and selling something to other countries in Europe rather than buying stuff. In that case, using the money. So I think that's a very good way to think and go. Zlata, I see that when we talk about ESG and those regulations that are on the Baltic countries and also entrepreneurs, Latvia is saying that this is something that we are not really impacted with. So 52% in opposite to Lithuania 32 and Estonia 33. So we are saying that in Latvia ESG reporting is probably not something that is on us.
Yeah, I actually looked on those numbers as well, and my personal interpretation of them is that actually from the companies who completed the survey, probably we had the majority of the companies to whom wave one of ESG reporting was not sort of
Applicable.
applicable. Yeah. And then if we look on wave two, and this is what Nerijus was mentioning, that omnibus proposal actually would sort of shrink the number of companies to whom wave two will be applicable as well, based on the number of employees and the turnover. Altogether, I think if we talk about ESG, I do remember I was participating in one of the financial sector conferences when the regulator was saying that, three-letter combination is very famous, I think, in all of the Baltic states. Previously, it was IML, which was sort of very much ruled, and we knew that this is a heavy regulation. Right now, ESG is becoming the second IML, sort of from the regulatory perspective. And I think the survey very much actually showed the same thing, that over-regulation does not actually make more business to happen. It actually stops business. The positive thing, although I should say, when I look on the results of the Latvian entrepreneurs, then we see that 28% were saying that their expenses actually were reduced thanks to the sustainability goals or making sure that they are more sustainable, which is good. But then if we look on the opposite result, then 23 said that they have increased. So again, as Nerijus was saying, the result of the ESG investment, although we all understand it is needed, there is no clear economic sort of impact on the profitability of the company. It is more still as the good thing to have. It is like a responsibility for the climate and for the planet, while the business rationale is still pending.
Yes. Zlata, I know that, and we heard that Ted also mentioned this uh, cut in public spending and also raising taxes. We didn't have such tough measures from the government, but still, um, is this also a mood, something that reflects now in entrepreneurs? What we see with the government, is this going up or down? I mean, mood wise.
Yeah, no, I think entrepreneurs are very clear. There is that the tough condition in the economy actually forced all the entrepreneurs to think about their own expenses. Yeah, so the entrepreneur are clear, it's especially in Latvia, in the sort of making very efficient spending, reducing where they could reduce the spending, and this is what they actually expect from the government as well. And I believe that the result of the survey just show the sentiment of the entrepreneurs saying, if we are cutting costs, we would like you to cut the costs as well. And we want those costs which are reduced or saved actually to be transferred to the defense. Exactly what you were saying, that those questions are very much interlinked, because the opposite thing, what could happen, and I think this is the biggest worry of the Latvian entrepreneurs, is that everything which is that because of the increased demand for the defense spending, we need to increase the taxes once more. And although even current state of the entrepreneurs already saying, hey, we are on the edge of over taxation of the businesses, and therefore we have risk of losing some of the businesses to the other countries, because it will be so heavy to make a business here in Latvia. So, and therefore the pressure on the reduction of the public spend is there. But the reduction, not in terms that it should be end completely, it's need to transfer from one category to another.
Yes, and Nereus, we just touched upon the new government a little bit. Is this a positive sign that you mentioned the that the CEOs are not very particularly happy with some policies and regulations, and so what is the mood with the new government? Maybe to be more specific about the new situation.
So the government is really still new, and I guess just 100 days passed, and there were lots of discussions in public about how they're doing. So it's a lot of uncertainty for the time being. There are lots of internal disputes between the coalition going on, and the most critical topic currently discussed is the tax changes, the proposed tax changes, because what current government is doing right now is they have proposed to increase almost all taxes except for VAT, and declaring that this is needed for the defense financing. What business is saying, and I guess about 80 associations have joined the forces. They're saying that let's be smart and let's not overtax the businesses, because this would be the outcome, as Lata mentioned, that we are risking of divestment, that certain businesses would leave Lithuania, because currently there are proposals to increase corporate income tax and also personal income tax, which is directly linked to the business returns. Yeah.
Mhm. This is probably a question to all three of you. Do you see that there has been a good or positive sign, something in the policies, maybe, or politics that attracts or is on the path to attract new investment in this region? Do you see positive signs? Who wants to answer this?
I can maybe start. I think, there could certainly be positive things as well, but I'm afraid that currently, what is going on in Ukraine, the Russian aggression and the fear of both the local people but also the investors of what could happen next is sort of overshadowing everything which is positive. And being active in transactions market as a PwC here in the Baltics, unfortunately we see two trends. One is that some of the investors are actually leaving, whether by coincidence or impacted by the geopolitical situation. At the same time, what we also see is that there are companies or assets being sold, and we see a decreased interest from abroad, which clearly is connected to the geopolitical situation as well. So while obviously all the governments at least believe that they do what is good for the country and what is good for the companies here, all of those actions at the moment, I think they can't be as drastic or as groundbreaking as the whole global situation which happens here in our corner of the world.
So it's a quite opposite way rather than positive. Zlata, do you have something to mention maybe?
Yes, and I agree with that, what he is saying on the sort of legacy business, but we as well see that defense is a rising star because the more investor is coming, the more need there is, the more companies, the foreign companies would come. And I think it is more or less from ourselves exactly what we have been discussing before, how much of the defense industry investment we would like to localize in our own countries. Yeah, how much of the defense we would like really to be spent there, how many things we would like to produce and manufacture, what type of the startup community we would like to create. Yeah, and I know the drone community is very strong in the Baltic states. We have now the munition and all the different production side here and there. I think the biggest challenge for us is really to consolidate those industries, really to make sure that we are able to play a role with the big players in the Western Europe, and be at the same table with them. Because currently we are too small.
That's true. Yes. Then, if we look in also in the past surveys, 5 years ago there was an outbreak of COVID. 3 years ago, the war started next door. Now, if we talk about uncertainties, then the new card in the game is Donald Trump and his policies and tariffs. Is this something that, of course, it is a little bit outside the survey because it's been done before all the announcements, but still, do we see the mood here, and what is the actually mood on the streets right now? If you could comment, Nerius, we start with you.
I participated in one of the biggest conferences last week, and there was a discussion with the macroeconomists on the stage about exactly the same topic. And I very much agree with the view said that currently the businesses are moving forward. If we compare the driver going in the car, but the front glass is fully taken by mud. Yeah. So we don't see anything, but we need still to go, and we need to still drive the car and make the decisions based on the information that we don't see the future, but we see the current stage, and we have the opportunity to open the left window and to see maybe through different scale. So for me, this metaphor was really describing where we are, because lots of uncertainties. The stock markets are down. The political decisions are changing every day. We are in Lithuania and in the Baltics. I guess we are very small, tiny economies, so much related to Europe and to the global economies. We are growing by exports and by delivering the value to our clients abroad, to our customers abroad. So I guess we have to make tough decisions now based on the uncertainty, and that's what I'm hearing almost every day.
Yes, Ted, is there like we see more tired CEOs from these uncertainties, or they are still bravely going on with their missions?
Yeah, I think answering to that, I would extend Neerjus's metaphor that, if you have to drive, then you need to find a way how to drive. I guess CEOs, they can't really afford to be tired, although, personally, sometimes they might be. And I think still what you said in the beginning is very right, that the uncertainty is the worst thing, obviously. If you would have negative certainty, then at least you would know what to fight or what to mend. But at the moment, I think our biggest worry is uncertainty. But all three of us, we are facing the same uncertainty. We have to go on every day. So I think it's about finding some positive and optimistic small things even that you are looking forward to, and you can't stop, you can't rest in a sense.
Yeah, even if you can't see the road ahead.
Exactly, you still have
so
to
to say.
push ahead.
Yeah, and Zlata, I see that in your introduction to the summary, you say that uncertainty is some sort of a driving force for the growth. Maybe a little bit elaborate on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we see is that all the companies start to use the uncertainty as something which is there, not a temporary event, but something which is there for time to stay. And I think we are starting to learn how to make the decision with this uncertainty around us. And actually, if I look on the results of the of our survey as well, and this is what we see, something what companies could control themselves. This is the short-term result of their own companies, and that and this is where the result shows that we are quite positive about them. 3 years results even more positive. Something what has happened globally we cannot control, we cannot influence. We just could probably see and reflect in our results and adjust to our results the way how we operate. And I actually think that from time to time, embracing the uncertainty is nothing bad. It actually gives us more opportunity. Maybe if everything would be very certain, we would not develop or invest somewhere. But this gives us the time for opportunity to risk, to make certain decisions, or maybe even to stop some of the operations which we believe are not going everywhere. Even if before, like for example, ESG investments and everything, it's not stopping, but it's maybe we need to think how to do it in the different way. What would be this different way? How we could find out the best alternative for us.
Yes. I think we all have had a very good insight and glimpse of how CEOs are feeling right now in the Baltic countries. Thank you all our panelists today, and I hope we'll see positive signs and more positive comments for the next year's CEO survey. Thank you very much, Nerijus, Ted, Zlata. Thank you.
Thank you.